It was the year 4386 all over Axios. People practiced cultivation and enjoyed the convenience of technology. Everything was quiet until a level 5 giant frog attacked the city. A magical team was sent to subdue the monster, and at the scene of the battle, a little boy was seen eating a snack. This dark-haired, red-eyed boy was so busy with his snack that he didn't know he was about to be hit by the giant frog. When one of the magic team members, Zhuo Yi, put him to safety. Years later, Zhuo Yi is now known as the hero who saved the city for defeating the giant frog alone. And now is the first day of the new school year for Faction 60. A freshman with black hair and red eyes enters the school as two students approach. Both note it with a strength value of 5 and with smiles. The two promise to take care of him. The first-year student, a different one, thanks them, but they start harassing him for protection fees. Suddenly, a beam is triggered in front of the students who fly off the roof. One girl reprimands the boys for bullying someone with a lower strength value than them, while the other students, stunned, identify her as the legendary girl of the group Flower, Fruits, Water, Curtain. Song wrong! Song wrong makes a graceful landing in front of the freshman. She extravagantly promises to give her protection to the freshman, and for this, he dryly gives her money as a thank you before leaving. Sun Song and the other students were completely blown away by the boy's apathetic behavior. Since it's the first day of school, first graders have to take a test to determine which class they will be in. Students with excellent scores will belong to the elite class for their test. They face the embodiment of the spiritual strength of the invading giant frog and are tasked with hitting his head with all their might. The giant frog is actually sealed in incarnation and unbeknownst to everyone. The spiritual strength of the students is absorbed every time it is struck a little more, and it will have enough strength to break the seal. Among the many students who tried their fists to hit the frog, the most impressive result is that of the proud and graceful Sun Rong, and she has a strength value of 2019. She is far from the first year, intimidated with a paltry value of strength of only 5. His name is Wang Ling, and now it's his turn. Naturally, students are quite disappointed to see someone like him, but the frog has a rather different reaction. The frog asks why he hears the boss's music as Wang Ling approaches. The boss's music is so epic that it takes the frog back to the time it devastated Axios. It turns out that Zhuo Yi was actually defeated by the monster, but just before Froggy could defeat him, he was eliminated by the child himself while playing his background music. The baby is none other than Wang Li, and he hates being annoyed eating the crispy noodles. Recognizing the boss's music, Froggy panics. Meanwhile, Wang Li thinks that he should keep his spiritual strength to a minimum and pretend. And so, with his battle cry, Wang Ling approaches the frog. But before he can even hit her, something strange happens. The screen broadcasting his performance turns off, and when the show returns, the giant frog is lying on its back. Everyone is flabbergasted by this, and the force calculator starts to go crazy, posting a series of 9 for his score. Wang Lig himself finds it strange since he did not hit the frog. The exam administrator arrives, shocked by what happened to his froggy. This is what he calls the demon frog, while he laments his apparent disappearance. Wang Ling quickly assesses the situation and deduces that the frog is just pretending to be dead. She turned into a spiritual form and ran away after orientation, and he assigned Wang Ling to the elite class. Now he is at the first lesson of the elite class. The professor mentions that the strength of the spiritual body that evokes it is proportional to their level of strength. The class evokes all sorts of things, from magic wands to articulated figurines, with Sun Rong being on another level among others. It evokes the spiritual body of a dog, when the other students wolf their goddess for summoning a demonic beast. Sun Rong smiled shyly, and she replied that she couldn't summon anything stronger. But inside, the girl is furious, wondering how much power it takes to summon these demonic forces. As for Wang Ling, he has not yet summoned anything because he's suspicious of the demon he will summon. But since his teacher is waiting, he does it using a drop of his sweat. Wang Ling finally summoned the giant frog and complained that he had to confront the powerful boy again. Panicked, some students fled. Fortunately, their teacher saves the day by using the dog that Sun Rong summoned. She fuses the giant frog and the dog through a talisman, forming a pretty dog-like spirit beast. The students call him Froggy too as Wang Ling walks out of that classroom. They tell us that Wang Li came out of his mother's womb on his own when he was born. He even started walking as soon as he came out of his mother's womb, which scared his father, who fainted. I can't blame him. Wang Ling has very loving parents because of his high powers. He also knows how to hear people's thoughts. So from a young age, he already knew that people tend not to say what he really thinks. Since then, Wang Ling has always kept a low profile, but Wang Ling broke that oath of normalcy when he defeated Froggy at the age of 6. His parents have it. Seen right at that moment, they decided that it was better for it to keep an even lower profile. His father searched the internet for ways to contain spiritual forces. He is also working on an amulet to permanently lower his spiritual power. On his 7th birthday, Wang Ling almost set fire to their house after blowing out candles. In another case, his powers erased his friends from him for some reason. Their clothes were even taken off. Wang Ling is no stranger to his parents' strenuous efforts over the past decade. He knows very well that they sacrificed a lot just to make sure they can live an ordinary life and be a normal guy. He took special pills that reduce a person's spiritual strength at school. Song Wang and their classmates, Chun Xiao, are candidates for the position of class president. Wang Li doesn't want anything to do with it. As he walks, he notices noodles for sale. As we have already seen, the boy loves them, so he makes his way through the crowd of students. At that moment, a shady-looking man pays for everything sold at the store, and he tells the crowd that everything in the store is free for freshmen as long as he votes for his rank. Chen Xiao and his friend notice this and say that soliciting votes is a scam, but her look says that she is only proving her skills. Buying the votes, it seems fair enough. As for Wang, he cares about noodles, so he says he will give his man 5 votes for 5 packs of noodles. Sun Rong uses the art of seduction to get his vote. So now his rival, Shen Xiao, is also under his spell. In class, they discuss the ancient arts of confinement that include the seduction spell that Sun Rong used on Song students Hong Panic and fear that the teacher has seen it. The teacher explains that seduction uses spells with buckets to project the user's spiritual strength onto others, turning them into these women. For this spell to work, there must be a gift. As the teacher discusses it, Wang Ling realizes what Sun Rong did before. He remembers giving her a pill in exchange for noodles so as not to be under her spell. He tells her that the noodles were delicious, but Song Wang misunderstands this, and she thinks she should eat the pill that gave her. This is what she does to Wang Ling's horror. At the same time, the teacher says that the lack of spiritual power will put an end to the spells of seduction. And since the pill reduces someone's spiritual power, Sun Rong's spell on the students is broken. The teacher then asks her Rong to demonstrate the spell she spoke about, but her rank is low, so she ends up stumbling. This leads Wang Ling to demonstrate fate for him. After that, class elections are held, and Chen Zhao wins. Sun Rong seems to have learned his lesson for the next day. First-year students take their pill refinement lesson. Each student must bring their own furnace to the school. Chen Xiao was carrying a huge copper cauldron. He says his great-grandfather used the cauldron to perfect level 9 gold pills. It therefore aims to achieve the same results. As always, Sun Rong makes a remarkable entrance to school, but she is not quite herself. The first thing he does is approach Wang Bing, and he immediately notices the symbol of seduction. Realizing that she had been touched by his seduction spell the day before, he breaks the symbol and Sun Rong is released from the spell. In class, students are asked to make vitality pills. Their teacher gives a demonstration and then encourages students to practice. Sung Wang brought a refining machine from his family's factory, while Wang Bing uses a microwave oven. During the class, Hot Chen's cauldron explodes. He runs out of the room crying, saying his father will be angry. The teacher comments that it does not take enthusiasm and vigor to refine the pills, but attention and patience. It will take about 7 hours for the pills to be refined, and the teacher takes the class and comes back later. But unbeknownst to the class, there is a vile villain hiding in the shadows, and this villain is cute. The dog plans to eat one of the students' magic ovens. Fortunately, Wang Ling arrives just in time before Froggy 2 can swallow it. He ends up chasing him. Still shocked by the damage to his cauldron, Sancho remembers how he begged his father to let him bring their family cauldron to school. Meanwhile, Wang Ling washes the oven of Guo Hao, which he saved from the wrong dog. Guo Hao sees it and asks for an explanation. Wang Ling explains that Froggy 2 put his oven in his mouth. Meanwhile, a mental demon has already consumed Shen Shao's spirit, still afflicted by his cauldron. As for Guo, he tries to shoot Wang Ling with a potion for disturbing his cauldron. Alas, Sancho approaches them when the potion is drawn, so he is touched, and he drinks it too. While Guo panicked, Wang Ling is completely indifferent to all this. He will even heal Shen Shao with his powers, but Guo Hoi stops him and urges him to help him make an antidote himself while preparing the potion. Froggy approaches the oven to try to eat her again. Guo Hoa thwarts its efforts. This leads them to learn that Froggy 2 can speed up the warm-up process, and so the two guys decide to use poor Froggy 2 to speed things up in addition to being used for his powers. Froggy 2 is also used as a test subject. Maybe he should have let Wang out. After all, soon after, their teacher and other classmates return. Gogo tries to block them, but fails. Fortunately, Wang Ling is fast enough to take Chen Shao away. The teacher inspects Hao's oven, and she finds a golden pill, which earns her a fairly high grade. Gogo is almost ready to cry, assuming that Wang Li put the pill he made in his oven. As for Wang Li, his furnace produces a failing burnt pill. This makes Guo or even more emotional, as he thinks Wang Ling took the blame so that he could have a higher rating. Thus Guo Hua considers him his lifelong friend. But the fact is that Wang Ling did nothing. His microwave oven made an ugly pill, and the gold pill Guo Hua made was in his oven while he made the antidote. And since Froggy manipulated the warming process, Guo Hua's pill was also affected. Finally, Sancho finally arrives, and Guo Hua, he said that he and Wang found him unconscious. Then he turns his attention to the cauldron behind him, and Chen Shao cries with gratitude, turning to Wang Ling, the sobbing boy, hugging him. But what Chen Shao doesn't know is that his cauldron was repaired thanks to Froggy 2. It was a long and crazy day, full of mistakes and misunderstandings. But it's because of this. Misunderstandings to create a beautiful friendship that now blossoms these three guys. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video and want to help the channel grow, leave a comment and subscribe.